Alright, so in this video, we're going to discuss the multiplication rule for probabilities. So, to calculate the probability of events A and B occurring, okay, we're going to use the following formulas, which are referred to as the multiplication rule. Okay, one formula says the probability of A and B, the probability of both of those occurring, is you take the probability of A given B, and then you multiply it by just the probability of B. Or the other version of this formula says the probability of A and B is the probability of A times the probability of B given A. Okay, so why do we have two different formulas? Well, we have two different formulas because as you go through your homework and as you work on various things, the formula depends on what information that you have. Okay, if you have the probability of A given B, you're going to use that first formula. If instead you know the probability of B given A, you're going to use the second formula. And if you need a refresher on that conditional probability notation, go back to the probability terminology and notation video if you need a recap on conditional probabilities. All right, here we go. For example, Danny is a shooting guard in his college basketball team. He is also considered to be a three-point threat, and he makes 44% of his three-pointers. Let's assume that he is going to attempt 2 three-pointers in his next game against a conference rival. We're going to let A be the event that he will make his first three-pointer. And so probability of A, the probability he makes his first three-pointer is 44%. We know that. We're going to let B be the event that Danny is successful on his next attempt. And once again, the probability he makes his second attempt is 44% because the probability he makes any three-point attempt is 44%. However, this really happens in sports. Given his hot hand, the probability he makes his second three-pointer after making his first one is now 75%. Compute the probability he makes both three-pointers. All right. Here we go, folks. What I like to do anytime I'm given a word problem like this, I like to go through and I like to write down, I like to denote what my different events are. But they told us this in the question. Event A is that he makes his first three-pointer. And event B is the event where he makes his second three-pointer. All right. So the question is, what's the probability that he makes both three-pointers? We need to figure out, let me come over here in a different color. We need to figure out what's the probability of A and B. Okay? So to figure that out, we need to write down all the information that we know. Write down all the information that we know. And so they told us the following information. Let's go a different color here. They told us the probability he makes his first three-pointer, the probability of A, we know that's 44% or 0.44. We know the probability of B is also 0.44. And here we go. It says, given his hot hand, the probability he makes, his second three-pointer, given that he made the first, is 75%. So the question becomes now, what type of probability is that 75%? Well, let's scroll just a tad bit here. It is the probability that he makes the second three-pointer given that he's already made the first. He's in the zone is what we call it. Well, the probability of B given A, that is 0.75 for this particular example here. Okay, that's the probability he makes the second three-pointer given, remember that vertical line means given, that he made his first three-pointer. Okay, so now the question becomes, which formula do we use? Remember, there's two formulas. Let me actually write them both down here. Two formulas. It's the probability of A times the probability of B given A. That's one formula. And we also have another formula that says you take the probability of A given B and you multiply that by the probability of B. Okay. Well, the question becomes, which formula do we use? Well, it's based off of what information we have. Since we have the probability of B given A, we're going to use the formula that involves B given A, which is that first formula that I wrote there. Okay? All right. So what does that mean? Let's bring that on down here. So the probability of A and B, aka the probability he makes both 3-pointers, will be the probability of A, which we know is 0.44, times the probability of B given A, which is the 0.75. Okay, let's go to our calculator. So I'm going to take 0.44, multiply that by 0.75, and I get a 0.33. So there is a 33% chance that he is going to make both of those 3-point attempts. Okay, so once again, write down what you know, identify which formula best matches up with the information that you have, and then apply the formula. Okay, this is going to be a quick video. So the next example here is, how do you use the correct formula, once again, to find the missing piece of information? So for instance, for example, suppose the probability of A given B is 0.50, and the probability of A and B is 0.30. The question is, what is the probability of B? Once again, I will write down the two formulas that will be used here. So the probability of A times the probability of B given A, and the probability of A and B also equals the probability of A given B. That's probability of B. All right. So once again, eyeballing information. Since we have A given B, that means we need to use the formula that involves A given B, which is this second one that I wrote down here. Okay. All right. So using that second one, let's put in the information that we know. We know A and B, we know that's 30%, 0.30. We know that equals the probability of A given B, which I told us 50%, times, okay, I'm going to do parentheses here, times the probability of B, which we don't know. Actually, do it like this. Times the probability of B. This is the unknown quantity. All right. As you learned from your basic algebra class, to solve this equation for the missing quantity, we're going to now have to divide both sides by the 0.50. And we get that the probability of B equals 0.30 divided by 0.50, which should be 60%, but let me just double check that. Let's go to our calculator. 0.30 divided by 0.50. Yep, 60%. All right, so the probability of B in this case is 0.60. All right, looks like that's all our examples. I will see you guys in the next video.